Travel along, Catholic pilgrims, as we read letters from the voyages of St. Frances Cabrini as she traveled around the Western Hemisphere sharing the good news of Christ. Welcome, Catholic pilgrims. If you ever thought Mother Cabrini was lazy, which I doubt you did, today we'll put those thoughts to rest. Nearly everywhere she goes, she wants to open a school, a house for sisters, or something to help bring the faith to people. Her energy seems endless. Today we will hear more about her time in Paris, so let's go ahead and open to page 219. 8th of November. Today the weather is more gorgeous than that of yesterday. The sun shines, the air is warm, the sea tranquil and smooth, and of a beautiful blue hue, whilst the vessel sails swiftly and quietly. My companion arose this morning as bright as a bird. Having said our prayers, we went on deck, where we spent our time praying, reading, or writing letters, just when we felt like it, and speaking to those who approached us, amongst whom were some Protestants, to whom we quietly suggested some religious ideas which we hoped might serve as the seed of a knowledge of the truth. I must not, however, forget to turn back to Paris, with the thought of what the good Jesus inspired me to do whilst passing through that city. For 7 years, I had nourished a secret desire to open a house in Paris, but the strenuous life of our American missions always prevented me. Now, however, on passing through Paris again, an irresistible force held me back in the capital. I first visited Montmartre, as this seemed to me quite a natural thing to do, and I felt driven onwards. There I received Holy Communion, made an hour's adoration before the Blessed Sacrament, which is always exposed in that temple for the salvation of France, and as I looked at the beautiful statue of the Sacred Heart which stands over the altar with its arms extended, it seemed to say to me in mute but eloquent language, "Here I want you. Here I will protect you. Here, though you will have some difficulty, you will succeed." Having finished my visit to this great sanctuary, built by the offerings of the whole of the French people, I felt a still greater impulse. So I went to the Cardinal Archbishop, but was unable to see him at home, as he had just left for the country. I was told to talk to one of the vicars general. The only one I found was Monsignor Thomas, an excellent and exemplary prelate, who, however, certainly inspired by God, thought it well to make certain objections, and represented to me how difficult that was which seemed so easy to me. However, instead of losing courage, I felt more determined than ever. I seemed to realize the interior awakening of a great feeling of gratitude towards this excellent vicar who, by thus making the way somewhat difficult for me, gave me the opportunity of beginning with the cross, a foundation which I had so much at heart. And it was really a cross for me because, while the difficulties thus presented did not deprive me of the hope of opening this house so long desired, nevertheless they meant the delay of the realization of my long-cherished hopes. Moreover, I desired to arrange everything in 15 days, so as to have time to go to England before leaving for America. The delay was certainly a great obstacle to my plans, for I had business in England which required my presence there not later than the middle of November. I thought I heard the words of the eminent Cardinal Vicar ringing in my ears: "Disembark in England and found a house of the Institute there, and you will do great good." For me these words were like a precept, but the delay in France was an obstacle to my going to England and caused me such great sorrow as to prove a real cross to me. I seemed to feel that I could embrace any other cross rather than this, but everything was arranged by God to render me more worthy of this blessing, without which there could be no success. In the meantime, the most eminent Cardinal Richard, to whom Monsignor Montanini had spoken on behalf of the Apostolic Legate, gave me instructions to open the house, about which he himself was quite satisfied. About the same time, a letter arrived from Cardinal Rempolo, Secretary of State, Rome, who, in the name of the Holy Father, asked His Eminence to render what effective help he could in favor of the projected foundation. The matter would have been settled at once, but for the absence of the approval of the Vicar General, Monsignor Thomas. But even for this, I hadn't to wait long, as an unexpected and gracious letter, full of those sentiments of piety which distinguish him, came from the Monsignor, in which he gave me as much satisfaction as he had previously given me trouble. Shortly after, when visiting our houses in Milan and Rome, he told the sisters that even whilst he was putting difficulties in my way, he felt interiorly as if he ought to say, "Go, found a house, and it will be blessed by the Sacred Heart." The last difficulty was the choice of the place, for not knowing the city, I might easily have made a mistake. Instead of the modest position I was about to choose, His Eminence the Cardinal, through the Vicar General, advised me to go to the parish of Saint Pierre de Chaillot, between the squares of Ituala and I Tocadero, the most aristocratic locality of Paris, which I should not have chosen myself. We found a house in Via du Mont de Vieille, number 20, and though it was one of the most modest houses in this distinguished quarter, it was very costly, and I should not have taken it except under obedience to the wish of the eminent Cardinal Archbishop, who encouraged me. Obedience, I said within myself, carries victory and works wonderful prodigies. When the house has been opened, the means to sustain it will follow. We did not, however, know where the means were going to come from, but the Sacred Heart, who always provides and cares for us, knew where they would come from. The house itself being too rich in its appointments, we chose the servants' apartments for the community as dormitories, the porter's room for the community room, the kitchen for the refectory, leaving the best rooms for such lady boarders as might come. And seeing what I had done was God's will, and in obedience to the Pope, whose blessing is always fruitful, we had one boarder very soon. On the day of the great St. Michael the Archangel, the special angel of our Institute, which he guards with a body of angels and saints, and called by me our great crusade, the house was opened, and about the 1st of October, the Countess Spottiswoode Mackin, an American lady of excellent dispositions and with a big heart, came to us. No sooner was she with us than she felt strongly inclined to help in a special manner the missionary sisters of the Sacred Heart, and used all her efforts to bring us into contact with persons who could help us. She herself helped us, and, not satisfied with that, she organized a concert under the patronage of the Princess Eulalia of Spain, who accepted the honor very willingly, being only too happy to help the missionary sisters of the Sacred Heart in their new foundation. She, the Countess Spottiswoode, arranged the affair so well by reason of her excellent and energetic personality and her beautiful disposition that one would imagine she is capable of putting a whole country into movement when it is a question of assisting those whom the Holy Father favors. With all her energy, she maintains a great simplicity, which enhances all her other good qualities, and as simplicity is the sister of humility, so she listens to every word I say and obeys me like a child, being willing to make any sacrifice in order to conform with the requirements of a religious house, and in order to make herself worthy, as she says, of doing us a little good. See, my dear daughters, how admirable is the providence of that most adorable heart, who knows how to help his little missionaries when they know how to abandon themselves to him. But this is not all. On the 1st of October, His Eminence Cardinal Richard returned to Paris, and, through his Vicar General, made known his desire to see me. On the 4th of October, I went to His Eminence, and his kind reception left a lasting impression upon me, the impression of a most holy soul inspiring me with a great veneration for him. He treated me as a real father would, and gave me a letter not only formally approving the foundation, but making it very conspicuous in the letter that I had been recommended to him by the Holy Father, Leo XIII. He not only helped me in this capacity as Archbishop, but gave me a large offering, which was recorded in a book, which moved others to follow his example, For the recommendation of the venerable Archbishop had the efficacy of a command and respect to many other generous persons. What do you say now, my dear daughters? Are you not astonished at the goodness of the most adorable heart of the most loving Jesus? Let us acknowledge him as our most powerful advocate and ruler. He is always in the presence of his Father, pleading our cause. Our cause is in his hands, in the wound of the side of the most clement Jesus. He never abandons those who have an upright heart, who trust in him and hope in his divine heart. He is our sure refuge in trials, and at the opportune moment, he gives us his powerful and loving help. He scatters with his breath the designs of our adversaries. Remember, daughters, that our trust in Jesus is our very life, and we must always hope in him and in the goodness of his most adorable heart against every hope. It may at times appear that he overlooks the evil that we suffer, but no, he is awake. He watches over us in all our interest. It is he who brings forth the lilies of the valley and the flowers of the fields, but he thinks more of us, as we are the elect portion of his divine heart. Why? Because we are consecrated to him as his spouses, desirous to please him always, and because, in a special manner, we are dedicated to him as missionaries of his divine heart. Yes, my daughters, as long as you have the grace to combat faithfully under the standard of the missionaries of the Sacred Heart, you will always walk under the protection of a special providence. But an exact fidelity is necessary to merit such a protection. You are certainly resolved to be thus faithful, but you must also supplicate the good Jesus to place his seal upon your arm, so that you may never need to lean on human creatures, and to put a seal on your heart, so that you will love him only and will work for him alone. Ask him to seal with his holy name all your thoughts, words, and actions, all your sufferings, your joys and aspirations. Beg him to live always in you and you in him, so that you may always be one with him, that you may always glorify him and not bear in vain the noble and inviolable title of missionaries of his divine heart. We will pause here for now, Catholic pilgrims. We will pick right back up tomorrow, and until then, live the faith boldly and travel well.